All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And Jaime Munguia, I heard, it's called a rumor for right now. He is not moving up to middleweight. He's going to stay at 154 pounds. And so Patrick Teixeira and Carlos Adames won't be for the WBO 154-pound championship. It might be for the interim title or for a mandatory fight against Jaime Munguia somewhere down the road. From what I understand, Jaime Munguia is going to go on, and I don't know who he's gonna fight. I'm guessing he's still gonna fight Jesse Vargas for the WBO 154-pound belt. So I think it's a smart move. You know what I'm saying? You know, even De La Hoya, he was saying, he did an article himself saying he was moving up to 60. So my guess is they trying to get that belt in somebody else's hands that's on that side of the street, and they don't want Teixeira. I don't know who Teixeira with. I know Adames for top rank, and they don't want the WBO to go to top rank. The WBO go one or two ways. They go to top rank, maybe Frank Warren, Kathy Duval like Kovalev, or Bob Arum on that side of the street, or go to Golden Boy side of the street. Mainly Oscar De La Hoya. Got those connections. But for Jaime Munguia, I think it was a smart move, man. If you could drain it and killing yourself, if he go to 160, then I would just be like, you know what? Reset over again and start off as a prospect, and we just start off fighting lower level fights. Keep him active. Like what, last year he out fought like 5 or 6, 7 times, and like I explained yesterday to a lot of boxing fans that don't get it, it's more detrimental to only fight once or twice a year to the longevity of a fighter's career. People don't get it though. They think all these athletes stay in shape when they not fighting. No, when you fighting, you don't have no other choice but to stay in shape. When you active, especially when you younger, like through your 20s, you should be easily fighting 4 times a year. Floyd fought like what, 12, 15 times in 1 year? When you younger, you're not going out there fighting Joshua, Wilder, Fury, you know, Oscar Reeves of the world. No, you stay active, you might fight. You know, you might fight a Sean Porter type, and then you might fight a Josito Lopez. Then you might come back versus a how can I say, I'm trying to think of another guy in that division, versus Yugas type. Then you might have another soft touch. But the thing is, when you in your 20s, you should be progressively getting better. A lot of these guys are regressing. You got to stay active to get better. When you in the gym sparring, more injuries come from sparring than they come from sparring than they come from actual fights. You know what I'm saying? And you can ask a lot of people in there. You take a lot of damage in sparring. Because think about it. You sparring what? 10, 15 rounds. You know, 3 times a week probably. When you in shape, when you fighting regularly, you don't need to spar that much because you just fought. You might spar half of that, a quarter of that. You sharp. So when you in your 20s, man, like it's a travesty that Tank Davis fight once or twice a year. He can't get better like that. And when he step up in competition, it may show. I'm not saying it's gonna show, it may show, but with Munguia, they might need to move up to 160 if it's really killing him like that. You know, keep him fighting lower level competition, let Morales school him and polish his skills up. But if it was me personally, I would take him over to Robert Garcia. I would let him move up to 160. We would just start from scratch. We would start from scratch with his opponent list. He'd just be fighting minimum opponents. And I know the money the zone giving him, they can't afford that, but that's what he need. He technically a mess. Footwork, that's what they start off, footwork. See, when you go to some of these other boxing schools and stuff, schools of that nature, and I know for the UK, for the most part, they practice hands first, then feet. You know, you practice the feet first, then the jab, and then everything else after that. Feet first. Once you master the movement, then you can master the, you know, the hands and the head movement and stuff of that nature, and the upper body and torso movement. You can master that. But a lot of these dudes is mastering hands and punching before they master feet. And Munguia need to start over from the rooter to the tutor. You know what I'm saying? He got the athletic ability. He got the size. He got the look. He got the power. You know what I'm saying? But if he killing himself to make 54, that's gonna take years off his life. I mean, off his career and his life. You drain your body, drain fluid. Them dudes drain it down below their body weight. It's unnatural. that ages the body even faster. You know what I'm saying? That's like you putting them bananas inside of a brown bag, and it's supposed to help them get ripe faster, and you leave them in there too long, now they black. That's the same thing what you do when you drain your body. People just think you cut weight. What happens when you can't cut no more weight? What happens when you get down bone dry? Where does the fluid come from? Where do your brain sit in? See, a lot of people got headaches because of lack of oxygen to the brain. I learned this a few years ago. Lack of oxygen through the brain and lack of water. Your brain don't sit in Gatorade. It don't sit in Dr. Pepper, Dr. Fizz, Sprite, Mountain Dew. Your brain sits in water. And when you have lack of oxygen and lack of water in the brain, it ages it. It's detrimental. It's harmful. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes are draining so much weight, you know, and they trying to add on to their accolades by getting the belt. And what they really doing is they draining all the fluid out their body. Your body only can get down naturally to a certain weight. And when you cutting it quick and you cutting it hard just to make it, a lot of these dudes they're not gonna have longevity on their career. They better not plan to fight until 35, 36, 40 years old. Cause the abuse been in. They sparring so many rounds just to keep up. And I don't even mean this video to be this long, but it became a good conversation. They sparring so many rounds just to make up, just to supplement. They sparring so many rounds let me say this again. They sparring so many rounds just to supplement a real fight. When if you fight the real fight, you might not even go do that many rounds. When you active, you ain't got to spar 100, 200, 300 rounds in camp. You ain't got to have a 12-week camp. You can have a comfortable 6 to 8 week camp because you already in shape. You already sharp. That's the point of activity. And a lot of these dudes are fighting once or twice a year, and they putting on this comfort food weight. They putting on this, oh, I'm going to the bar, I'm on vacation weight, I ain't got to work. How many of you dudes think these fighters really working like Floyd Bernard and Andre Ward? How many people saying, I don't want the cake, or I don't want the hen dog? How many of you think stand on weight? Not a lot. We see them walking around 180, 190, 200 pounds. And right now, when you in your 20s, and you maybe your early, you can cut it. But at some point in time, you're not going to be able to cut the weight no more. And the majority of your camp is being used to cut weight, not work on the jab, not what I can do better. You're cutting weight, going to sleep, barely eating, you're going to sleep so you won't eat too much. You're not working on the jab, you're not working on your hook, you can't work on what you did wrong. You can't work on it because you don't have the energy. You're too busy strength and conditioning. You cutting weight while you working on the finer tunes, hitting the bag. You're not working on, is he keeping his hands up? He giving his chin tucked on the bag. You worry about hitting the bag so you can cut that weight off. So that's another thing people need to understand. People think, oh, look at these other fighters, they all fucked up in the head and whoop-de-whoop and this and that. Hey, man, none of them niggas had 100 fights. Some of these dudes had 70 fights. I'm not saying fight 4 or 5 times a year your whole career, but you in your prime, you need to be fighting 3 or 4 times a year. You in your prime, you need to be getting you young, 4 or 5 times a year. You ain't fighting nobody but journeymen and former world champions. That's how you that's how you make the cake. That's the batter. So then when you get up to your 30, 31, 32 years old, 33 years old, you'll have 40, 45 fights. You know what I'm saying? You'll have 40, 45 fights. You know what I'm saying? You've been to cut that weight like that. Cut it easy. But a lot of these dudes, man, they don't get it because they don't understand the sport. But with Jaime, to close it out on him, he need to be active. No doubt about it. And if it was me personally and he was struggling to make 160, this is a great opportunity to take him back kind of to prospect level. I said, man, we going to 160. If you can't make the weight, you struggling. Because you can't cut weight. You can't focus in on cutting weight and getting better. And if they keep him active, the weight cuts won't be that bad. So Morales can can brush him up on some things. But he still may be fighting Jesse Vargas too. So, you know, him and Vargas might be fighting at 54. Yeah, he should handle Vargas. Vargas is a tough Mexican-American. He got a good chin, but he don't possess no powers and he ain't special. You know what I'm saying? I was just seeing him fight versus Broner at the Barclays Center. A lot of people thought, you know, Vargas won that fight. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people thought, some people that watched it on TV thought AB won the fight. So, my humble opinion to the whole situation is, if he having a hard time making that weight, this is a perfect opportunity to reset his career. It's a perfect opportunity to reset his career. Start him back, you know, fighting, you know, keep him active. And I think by the end of 2020, I think Morales should have him where he need to be at. But he need to be eating, shitting, sleeping, pissing boxing, sweating boxing. Because if he really think he ready for Golovkin, which Golovkin did turn down that fight, he think he ready for Canelo, he not ready. There's no point in throwing him out there and wrecking his career when he can't get better. He can't brush up on some things. He can't learn to keep his chin chucked. He can't learn to punch and bring his hands back. He can't learn to use his feet to get out of the way. He can learn to move his head. Morales can teach him some things to get him back in code. If not, man, Robert Garcia is the best guy going at rebuilding the fighter. You know, he gonna teach you enough defensive responsibility, and he gonna teach you how to refine your technical thing. Him and Jared Hurd is birds of a feather flock together. Both of them getting by on weight advantage, you know, strength and just they getting by on ability, on just natural ability. You know, and I seen Jared Hurd working with old dude out of Shakir Stevenson camp, showing him what he doing wrong, keeping too much weight on the front foot. They rebuilding Jared Hurd from the ground up. And Jaime Munguia gonna need the same thing. They both got the abilities and the natural athletic ability to be great boxers. You know, mentally we seen Jared Hurd go through the trenches and still persevere. Jaime Munguia, he can persevere. He tough. He got the Mexican blood, but he gotta learn everything over again. Everything, how to throw the jab straight, spear jab, up jab, left hook, overhand right, uppercut, you know, how to set up shots. And he young enough to retain that information. He not an old dog and can't learn some new tricks. Even Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd only had like 50-something amateur fights. You can teach that dog new tricks. You know what I'm saying? And Jared Hurd, I seen him, kind of some bonus talk. He looked tired as hell at the Shakir Stevenson fight. He looked real tired. But you know what? That mean he working. That mean he need exactly what they doing for that kid. That's exactly what he needed. He didn't need to take that J-Rock fight. He need to take 3 steps back, and somebody gave him some real advice. Like, dude, you ain't ready for that fight. And the guy who really told him that he wasn't ready for the fight, or the guys or the gals who told him for that fight, those type of dudes he need in his career. You don't need yes men. You need guys that's gonna tell you like, hey dog, I don't think that's a good look for you. You know, I don't think you ready for that, just being man to man. Let's take a couple steps back. Let's get back to the drawing board and let's do it. But hey, y'all know what it is. Goodfellas Sports TV. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you got business, question, inquiry, sponsorship, and video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate everybody making a donation. Want to make a donation, that link subscription. Best way to donate is share the video. Y'all know what the business is. One time, support CJ. Goodfellas Sports TV. We gone.